Charge your batteries, lock in those props, and check that airspace. Join us live. This is the Drone Owners Network.
Like magic, folks, we're just right back at you once again. Tommy Polo in the house. Bill, the drone reviewer, is here. We're all live and ready to go. Doug Mellon is... I'm already getting grief for what I'm wearing. Doug Mellon, hey, Curtis, what Seahawks stuff are you going to wear today? No, I have on my pilot shirt, Doug. I'm wearing my pilot shirt, no Seahawks shirt. I do have a large Seahawks collection. So before we get rolling here, we got a few little show notes we want to cover. May 5th, I'm going to be making an appearance on Val's Life, and she's another live YouTuber, and she called me up and said, hey, I would love to have you on and interview you for my show, and I thought, oh, that's awesome. So thank you very much, Val, for that, and I haven't put her channel in the show notes, so after the show, I will add those to the show notes so you guys can check that out, and I'll make an announcement later on, too. Let's see. Bill, the drone reviewer, is here, and oh man, has he got a lot of stuff to talk about. He's like, I can tell he's brimming. He's like, get me in there, coach. Get me in there, coach. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. But before we do that, Mr. Tommy Polo is here in the house, and I believe, Tommy, you got some news?
Sure.
Well, stand by. Here comes your news break. And now here with the news is Mr. Tommy Polo.
Thank you very much, Curtis. Today's story, let's see, first we have, if you've been watching, if you're a big fan and you've been following, you've probably noticed a trend of me talking about drones and deliveries. There was something in Australia last week where they're approved to fly and deliver some food, this and that, and the other thing. Guess what America's got? It's official. The FAA certifies Google's Wing drone delivery company to operate as an airline. Full-fledged airline. The FAA has certified Alphabet's Wing Aviation to operate as an airline in a first for U.S. drone delivery companies. Wing, which has began as a Google X project, has been testing its autonomous drones in Southwest Virginia and elsewhere. Aircraft carrier certification means that we can begin a commercial service delivering goods from local businesses to homes in the United States, Wing said in a statement to The Medium, which is another news source. This is an important step forward for the safe testing and integration of drones into our economy. Safety continues to be our number one priority. I'm glad that they're doing that. As this technology continues to develop and realize its full potential, Secretary of Transportation Elaine L. Chao said in a statement from the agency, and its operations met the FAA's rigorous safety requirements, which I'm sure is pretty in-depth. Wing's electric drones are powered by 14 propellers, nearly all of which are top-mounted to help carry loads of up to 1.5 kilos, which is 3.3 pounds for us standard weight measurements. They're meant to deliver a wide range of everyday items from food and drinks to medicine and emergency supplies. This is kind of funny because the wife and I were sitting around one night, and she's on her phone, I'm on my phone, and she said, "Oh, look at this," and she shoots me something over. Here it was from Indeed. It was pretty much an application, like, hey, drone pilot, you want to sign up for something? It was late. I was half awake, so I said, yeah, let me see that, and I filled it out and sent it. Well, a couple of days later, I didn't realize it. Like 18 emails come in at once, and it's this company called Zing. I don't really know much about the company. All I know is I was like, oh wow, maybe this is something. Okay, I filled out the one thing. They said, okay, now check your email. I looked in it. I got back. Well, it says, okay, well, you fly DJI drone. Yeah. And it wants to set me up to autonomously use my drone and their software to deliver food around my neighborhood. So when it got to the point where it asked to take a picture of my 107 and send it to them, I was like, no, I don't think we're doing that just yet. I don't know. I want to see it happen first. I'm not the kind of guy that's just going to jump in and be like, hey, yeah, I'll be your guinea pig, however much money I just spent on this drone, and I'll just go through. I want to see it happen. I look at my neighborhood's full of trees.
Well, let me ask you a question. I don't mean to interrupt, but
no, you're good.
Are we talking about a release mechanism for coffee or something? I mean, are we looking at third party, 3D printed stuff to drop off packages and stuff? Right. I mean,
like, it's nuts. Here's how it was outlined to me when I read it. It was you're gonna take your drone, fully charged battery, set it outside. You're gonna log in to their software through the DJI app, and then somehow you're gonna fly to the destination autonomously. It's gonna fly you there. Then once you're there, you have to take over to pick up the package. How? I just point the camera down. I was like, oh, there it is. And who's gonna? Like I honestly don't. I don't see how a Phantom's going to carry like 4 coffees or.
Well, I mean, I see kind of where this idea is coming. I mean, I don't know if you guys are experiencing it, but where I am, Amazon is getting delivered now by just regular people who, like a side job kind of thing.
Yeah, we have that.
They do have some specific Amazon trucks, or vans, I should say, that they're delivering packages with. But the last 3 packages my wife got, it was just a guy that pulled up to the driveway. My wife's like, some freak is here. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, well, answer the door. She goes, I'm not answering the door,
It's the same over here.
So, and a side note, Amazon needs to logo those folks or something, let us know that it's Amazon, because just somebody pulling up in a pickup, walking up to your door.
There's 150 of those vans parked down at an abandoned strip mall down the street. And it's, what the heck is it? It's all, and 3 of them had say Amazon on it. So that's where we came up with that.
Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good. But yeah, but that's, so I don't understand. I'm anxious to see it happen. I don't want to be a guinea pig though, but I am anxious to see how they're going to do it. But, and as for medical deliveries, this is a related story, a separate story, but related. The drone delivery of a kidney recently used for an organ transplant in Baltimore, being characterized by the University of Maryland as a pioneering breakthrough advancement in human medicine and aviation technology. And the unmanned aircraft systems flight on April 19th, only last week, through the city of Baltimore occurred about 12:30 a.m. Was less than 3 miles, but it represents a huge first step. The automated drone flew the route itself, carrying everything from a parachute to a radio tracking system, video camera, obviously, and a box of sensors for the kidney that monitored its temperature, pressure, vibration, and location of the organ. And upon arriving at the University of Maryland Medical Center, the organ was successfully transplanted. The recipient was a 44-year-old Baltimore woman who spent 8 years on dialysis, and she was discharged from the hospital this past Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah. And I also read in there was 2,700 recipients, I believe, that were not able to get transplants last year because of not being able to be delivered in a timely manner, or it took too long to get there. Now it's no good, that kind of thing. So this could actually full on be saving lots of lives in the future once they.
So in this article, did they talk about altitude that they were flying at or anything like that? Because I mean, I'm thinking eventually we're going to get some crowded airspace here. I mean, are we looking at that kind of information, or was that in the article?
I think that is going to be something that we're all going to have to. I know that the FAA is coming up with a whole lot of new laws as far as flights over people, flights at night. They're making progress.
Okay.
I had the rest of the article right here, and then
I threw you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. An ad popped up, and now I can't get rid of it. Bang with electronics things.
Next.
But anyway, international news: Sri Lanka has completely banned all drones and unmanned aircraft from the skies over them, as authorities continue controlled detonations of suspicious items that they found 4 days after a series of suicide bombing attacks, terrorist related, that have killed more than 350 in and around the capital of Colombo in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's Civil Aviation Authority said Thursday it was taking the measure in view of the existing security situation in the country. So this is a shame. These guys are pretty much just like buying toy drones off the shelves, fixing them with grenades and sending them where they want to send them to do what they want to do with them. It's a shame, but there was actually a full-on official, can't see that, but it's an official letter that was released in Sri Lanka. It says, "Dear UAV owners and operators, operations of drones within territory of Sri Lanka suspended. You're hereby informed that due to the prevailing security situation in the country, this office has decided to suspend with immediate effect the issuance of approvals for the operation of pilotless aircraft, unmanned aerial vehicles, unmanned aircraft systems, etc., of any description, including drones, until further notice. It is therefore notified that all operating approvals already issued by the Civil Aviation Authority, the CAA, of Sri Lanka to date stands suspended with immediate effect, and no person shall engage in the operation of such pilotless aircraft within territory of Sri Lanka until further notice. So we're saving lives over here, killing lives over there. These things, I mean, it's a shame, but these things are so diverse and could do almost anything. They're screwing it up as much as they're raising it up. It's a shame, but yeah, hobby drones have been used by militants in the past to carry explosives. Iraqi forces learned that they're difficult to shoot down while driving out, obviously while moving, and also while driving out the Islamic State group from northern Iraq, where the extremists loaded drones with grenades or simple explosives to target their forces. And also on Thursday, Sri Lankan authorities detonated a suspicious item in a garbage dump about 35 kilometers east of the capital, which they were suspected was a failed delivery. And that's about all I have for the news for this week. Unless you go to local news, I flew all day over. I got to utilize my 107 today. I got this.
Oh, you're proud.
I am kind of proud. It was so much fun that it was like, the event's still going on tomorrow, and I'm going to go back just for the heck of it. I'm making zero money off of this. All I'm really doing is providing a service to the community, my township here. The mayor was there. The mayor actually, I talked to him a little bit, and most exciting part for me was that he's anxious to get me into more events that are happening around here.
A little promotional work. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like I could build a portfolio. I can share with the community, all that kind of stuff, which is great. This one was a colonial reenactment. There's an old tavern it's literally like 3 blocks from my house, and we walk the dogs there, everything else. But they did a whole reenactment thing. You could do tours through the house. They had all kinds of activities for the kids, this, that, and the other thing. It was great. If you see me on my Facebook or anything, look for stuff. I'm gonna be uploading soon. Neat stuff. But thank you, Curtis. I will send it back to you, and we'll get on with our guy Bill here.
All right, thank you, Tommy. Well, guess who is in the house today? I'm excited about this. This is really cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill, the drone reviewer, is in the house. I've been watching his channel for quite a while before we started doing our thing. And the guy's got a lot of information over there. Just starting to go through some of the backlog of some of his stuff is really, really awesome. So without further ado, let me get in here, get my ugly mug off here, and get Bill on here so everybody can say hi to Bill. Bill, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Curtis. How are you and Tommy doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. It's a great day. I'm going to go fly after this. I'm looking for some, that golden hour stuff. So for the show, for me, is kind of timed perfectly, because when I get done here, my batteries are done charging. I can head out and ready to go fly.
That's perfect.
I did time it that way. Yes, I did look at the clock and go, okay, so if I get done here by 4:30, yeah, I got it. Good to go.
See, I should have spent my day outside today, but I spent it inside playing with a new toy, the smart controller.
Oh, I'm jealous. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. We're going to get real deep into that. So let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
You found drones. Let's kind of go from there and right on up through what prompted you to create your own channel and how your channel's doing. Let's talk about that stuff.
Sure. It goes back probably about 2016 or so. Moving to Florida, you find out one of the things, there's so many benefits to living in the state, but one of the things that's really not a benefit is hurricane season. And that's something you need to be prepared for. Well, and this is kind of like, this is going to eventually lead there. I got interested in being able to communicate if lines are down, if cell towers are down, that type of thing. I ended up, long story short, I got a ham radio license, because that would be the only method of communication when everything else is out.
Okay.
I ended up getting an amateur extra, which is the top tier license that you can get for a ham radio operator. Got a real nice radio. My wife got me a great radio for Christmas. And then I went up to my 35th college reunion. Okay. And one of my friends, her husband was flying a Phantom 3 Pro and was taking our class picture with it. And it just totally mesmerized me. And I told my wife, I said, I got to check into this. So in December that year, I ended up getting a Autel X-Star Premium, the orange pumpkin.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, because one of my friends said, Autel has exceptional customer service. Because the very first thing I heard about DJI is their customer service. So I said, you know what? Let's go with Autel. Hardware wise, it was an exceptional drone. No questions asked. Software updates were not measured in days or weeks, but months. It was a real pain point with them. I mean, it really just. But their customer service was exceptional. I had a bad battery. Next thing I know, 2 days later, I had a new battery sitting in my door. They didn't even ask me for the old one back. Just absolutely love that. Well, I started realizing, with this pain point of the software updates and everything, I said, I need to look at something else. And one of my friends from upstate New York, he said, Bill, he said, you need to look at a Mavic Pro. He said, seriously. He says, it's portable. It's easy to take around. The quality of the video and the photographs is just exceptional from it. So I went ahead and he said, now you got to be careful who you get. And he recommended a dealer, which just happened to be 2 hours south of me in Fort Myers, Florida. So I bought directly off a dealer and I've been hooked since. Now, how I got started with the channel is, I went out there and I saw these great reviews. I mean, I saw Ed Ricker does great reviews. Billy Kyle did great reviews. Okay. But the one thing for me, Curtis, was, these reviews were like 15, 20, 25 minutes long. And I had to fast forward to find what I needed on there. And I said, you know what? I think I can do this. And I think I could do it in a smaller chunk. So that's why most of my videos are like the whole premise of my channel is based upon getting you the information you need so you can do what you want to do. Get out there and fly.
That's the downside of the live videos that we're doing is they tend to be a little long, and we've kind of wrestled around with that ourselves, and I'm sure you do as well. You want to keep it at a usable time frame. So yes, I totally understand where you're coming from. There's been a few tutorials that I've done where I look back on them and I go, oh Lord, that is so long. What are you doing, Curtis? So you're onto something, and it's very unique in this industry. Something that's short, concise, gets the information out there, get in, get out. That's what people really do want. They want to go out and fly. So yes, you are onto something.
This whole thing of being able to do that in a timely basis, like, for example, I'll when I come home from work, I probably have about a 2-hour window of being able to fly by the time I get home before the sun sets. And, while it's good, sometimes, I mean, it's like, you get home, dinner, dishes, chores. And by that time, you maybe have 45 minutes. Okay. If you're lucky. All right. Well, time is of the essence with something like this. And there was one evening, even before I got home late, and my wife said, you know what, you need to get outside. And it was literally one of the best sunsets I've ever seen. The sky was just this enormous array of different colors up there. I got the Mavic 2 Pro. I mean, I didn't need nothing. I got it, battery in it, up in the air, looking at it. And instead of turning around, what I did was I just pulled back on the stick so I didn't miss any of that view. And I'll tell you what, it's one of my favorite videos just because of the colors there were just insanely incredible.
That's awesome.
I know I started for myself. I started back on the very original Phantom. And at that point in time, we were hard mounting a GoPro to this frame. There was not a gimbal. We're throwing this drone up in the air. There was no monitor per se at first. You're like, okay. And I was trying to film this clock tower at one time. And I've got the video. I guess I could share it, but I'm trying to fly by this clock tower, and I'm like pointed 3 feet away from it. But when you're on the ground looking at it, you think, oh, I've got it in the shot. And I'm like cruising by it, and I'm like way out of the way. It's just so yeah. The drones and cameras have come a long way in a short time when you start thinking about technology. So yeah, when the Mavic 2 Pro came out, and I've purchased almost every drone that's come out with the exception of the Inspire 2 and then like the M600 and those higher end drones. Those are kind of more professional drones. But yeah, I'm the same way. I had the Mavic Pro, and then when the Mavic 2 Pro or the Mavic and then the Mavic 2 Pro, when that one came out and I was able to do night shots, I was like, whoa. Everything's just popping, all the colors and the lights and everything just looks absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, cameras come a long, long way, buddies, and we can get some really amazing shots.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like you don't see. I didn't even the very cool thing about that was people ask, what were your settings? What'd you put on for a filter? What'd you do? I said nothing, guys. I just put it up in the air. I mean, seriously, it was just, like, well, don't you use filter? I says, yeah, I do. But, I didn't have time. I wanted to get it up in the air.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And I've seen the video, so that's awesome. So I know, so we've kind of covered your channel a little bit. By the way, your channel's doing really, really well. How many subscribers do you have now?
Just getting real close to 6,400.
Okay, so long distance high five. That's awesome, dude.
That is. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And and I got to say this before I take one step further here. My wife supports me 120%. She films a lot of the scenes where you see me standing outside or with the drone or of the drone itself. She's filming that. She's using, and I tell you what, she came to the event with me in New York City. And I introduced her to everybody, and she's very much a part of this channel. My success on this channel would be nothing without her, because she absolutely helps me out 120%. So I need to say kudos to her for that.
That's awesome.
Without any question.
And good for you for saying
cool.
that. You get an extra dessert tonight.
Well, and I tell you what, the amount of growth is incredible, because if you really think about it, I have my 2-year anniversary of the channel coming up on May 31st. And in 2 years' time, I went from, it was just my wife, myself. I enlisted my kids to subscribe, and, my stepdaughter, and we started out with like 5 people. And then, it went from really nothing to almost 6,400. And I think a lot of it has to do, one of the things that the other thing I wanted to do was, I want to try to answer everybody's comments. I know it's not always possible, but I always try to do that. And I always try to give people encouragement. And one of the other things I like to do is for smaller channels to promote them on my channel, because I think, it's kind of self-perpetuating. For instance, you probably saw Artco Drone Solutions, Art from over.
Oh, that dude's awesome.
He does. Well, I ended up finding him he sent me a friend request, and Lloyd, the grumpy vlogger, was from the same town. Okay. And he told me about him, and I went on, and I'll tell you what, Curtis and Tommy, I checked out his video on what it took for him to get outside with his Phantom 3. I had tears coming down my cheek. Okay.
I was part of that little help that we kind of gave him there. Yeah. I jumped in and helped out as well.
I tell you what, that really kind of pulled at the heartstrings. And the thing about it is, it's like, you realize something. Okay. There are people, it's work for Art to get out there to fly. But he absolutely loves it so much. He doesn't let anything deter him. And I think, maybe if we look at life like that a little bit more, things won't be so bad for all of us. We get a bad comment or whatever, just blow it off. Just move on. Look at Art. Look what he's had to face in life and how he's overcome that. And, Art's just a great guy. You can't help but love him.
I love his little fishing rig that he's kind of rigged up, the piece of wood with a GoPro under it. It's like he's got some pretty muddy area where he's dragging it. I wish he had some clearer water to drag that through, but you can see fish and stuff, and it's like, wow, why didn't I think of that? It's such a simple solution. I guess I need to explain it to everybody. Arco Drone Solutions, by the way, check out his YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description after the show. It's basically just a piece of light balsa wood or something like that floats really well, and he just hard screwed a GoPro, waterproof GoPro under it, tied a string on it. He throws it out in the water, and he kind of drags it slowly back across, and he catches some video of the fish and stuff. So I think that's really cool. He's got his own fishing channel and everything. But yeah, I saw the video, and that was when I found you just before that, when you were talking about Artco and stuff, and the support, where we got into stuff, and we kind of gave him a little help there. But yeah, the guy's super, super awesome. And you start seeing people like that. I have a couple of guys up here that have some handicap situations that they're dealing with, and they love to fly. And we're looking for solutions for those guys as well. But you were talking about channels and stuff. The Canadian Drone Hub is a fantastic bunch of folks. And those guys are on all the time. It seems every time I turn on YouTube, I get the little feed that says, oh yeah, Canadian Drone Hub is on. And those guys, although they don't always talk about drones. Right.
Well, I'm usually, I guess right now, Roger likes, I'm on Saturday mornings about 10 a.m. Eastern each Saturday. They just absolutely love me. And I kind of give them their weekly DJI update. and they really enjoy it. And like you said, Curtis, they are just a great group of people. You can't help but like all of them. And it's like I said, pull up some coffee, kick back and watch them. They're on like 4 hours in the morning. They're on like in the evening. They're on weekends, and it's just a great place to relax. And of course, it does go to other than drone conversation, but they're good folks. And what I like about Roger, what he really promotes other channels on there. He's very big about that, and and spreading the, if you will, for lack of a better term, the gospel of drones. I think they're probably one of the best proponents of that out on YouTube. They do such a good job on that. And who doesn't like them? Everybody likes them.
Oh yeah, they're a great bunch of folks. There's something that you're doing right now that I want to talk about, and I want to definitely point people in the direction. And I think it goes in line with what you were talking about earlier about, small, concise amount of information where you don't take a lot of people's time. They're able to watch something. But you're doing a really interesting comparison series right now between your Phantom 4 Pro V2. We got to get all that in there, and your Mavic. And I think it's kind of a nice way of doing it. I think you're doing it in a form of a boxing match, which I think is pretty entertaining as well. But I wanted to let everybody know that you are doing that, and you're really kind of breaking it down piece by piece to compare two different drones. And it's really good for somebody coming into the industry, or not into the industry, into the hobby, when they're trying to decide what they want to get. When you have these nice little tidbits of information, and somebody like you who's putting something like that together, I think is really awesome. So if you want to talk about that for just a second, that's a great little thing.
I kind of, and I asked this, and this is something else I do. If I've seen another idea out there, I don't want to necessarily blatantly copy it. Well, Kelly Shores did a video. He compared, I think it was the Mavic Air and the Mavic Pro, and he used the boxing theme. And I went ahead and I emailed him and I said, Kelly, do you have any issues with that? So he said, absolutely not. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do this because I think it's a great idea, the whole boxing theme, and coming up with the drones facing each other and the dramatic music and all that stuff. I absolutely have a blast doing it. But thinking about the kind of tests that I had to do for it, in the first one, it caused a lot of confusion. Okay, because OcuSync 2.0, it's like, how do you look at radio waves? Okay. How can you visibly see radio waves? That just doesn't happen. Well, the best way to do that was via a YouTube live stream, because it's 100% using that OcuSync 2.0. Right. And one of the things that I had to put, like, I put multiple disclaimers in there and said, this feed is from YouTube, guys. It is not from the card. It's not from the, from the drone. I said, this is not from the camera, really. I said, this is really from OcuSync, and just to get people to know that. But it's really interesting, looking at like the wind test, because everybody knows how good the Phantom 4 Pro is in the wind. And, it's good in the wind, but in a stationary wind, it's not so good. All right. Where the Mavic 2 is very good in a stationary wind. They kind of flip roles there. And with the precision landing, and you may have seen that video, my very first flight with a Mavic 2 Pro, okay, I'm out in my driveway and I'm looking, and my wife's the one that's noticed. She says, it's going to land on the roof. Because I hit return to home. So I took over control and I landed it. And sure enough, found out that DJI had not added precision landing. Now, there's a lot of schools of thought about precision landing. There are a lot of people who disdain it and who, don't want to have anything to do with it. And that's fine for them. I'm 9 times out of 10, I manually land my aircraft. But there are people like, I have another great subscriber. Art is somebody who would depend on something.
Oh, like exactly.
That. Yeah. Mike Roche, I don't know if you know of him or not. He's from up in Syracuse, New York. If not, you need to check out his channel. He does a fantastic job. Well, anyway, he has a handicap situation as well. And he has to mount, he has to take off from like on a bench because he can't bend over. And he depends on precision landing. So there are some people that really kind of depend on something like that. So, that's why I went ahead and did that. Now, I got several other ones coming up. One of them is going to be like, I'm going to be doing a battery test. and there are some that I can't do, because obviously, because one drone has something that the other drone doesn't have. But I'm trying to play equal. And then of course the last test is going to be, I'll call it like a camera test, comparing the video and audio and pictures, and taking a look and seeing that. But I'm having an awful lot of fun doing that, and especially with the boxing theme. I think it's great.
Yeah, it is really a great series, and it's entertaining, but it's also informative, which I think is really a great thing. And I want to point people in the direction of those. If you're thinking about buying a drone and you're kind of up in the air, Bill's got a great little series that he's working on right now. You ought to check that out.
It's very informative. It's nice. It's a good watch. He's a lot of information, but excuse me, set to that it's easy to understand. He gets the information to you. It's not like, all right, I got to sit here, listen to this guy go on and on and on. Okay, there's the little bit I want. That Bill's stuff. It's to the point. It's easy to understand. It's good.
I appreciate that.
No problem, man. I just wanted to answer a question I saw in the chat real quick from William R. It said, "How's that P4 V2 in the wind, Tommy?" What's up, William? First of all, second of all, he might have saw today that the event I flew today all day long, it's been 30, 40 mile an hour winds. Now I'm not over anybody's head, obviously, because it's 107 rules. Or I'm over the parking lot, but I'm not far from people. This thing, is the wind. To the point where the guy that's standing in front of me talking to me is being blown backwards, like he's losing his footing. The P4 stayed right there. You hear, it was putting up a fight. It stayed exactly where it was, and the footage worked out good. So I hope that answers your question there, William.
We got a bunch of stuff in here. By the way, thank you everybody that's in the chat room right now.
Yes.
There was a couple of questions in here. By the way, Lauren, next week we're doing an event for International Drone Day, first one in Canada. Good job, Lauren. May 4th, which is also Star Wars Day. Why they plan that out on May the 4th be with you, I don't know. But International Drone Day is May 4th, and there's events going on all over the world, and Lauren's got one, so you guys might message her and check that out. Let's see, what else was there? There's something else in here. Doug says he needs a kidney. He says I might need a kidney, actually. So that was good news that we kind of dropped that information in there for him.
I'll fly one over to you.
Yeah. Okay, so Bill, let's jump in and talk about this new controller you got, because I'm jelly.
Yeah.
I gotta, I actually haven't flown with it, but I've spent most of the day on working with this. Okay. Now it's really interesting. One of the things I can tell you guys right away with this is it eats up battery pretty fast, and when they say it takes 2.5 hours to charge it fully, it takes 2.5 hours to charge this fully.
Wow.
Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And I was kind of talking about my wife. Now I have some Anchor portable chargers. And I think what I'm going to do is, if I'm out for a day of flying, I'm definitely going to be carrying this. And this thing's going to be on a constant charge during the day, because it does eat up battery. That's the very first thing that I found out about this today. Now, the second thing I found out, which it really didn't surprise me, it has a built-in screen recorder. Now, I thought at first, I think there's a way getting into the SD card, but I know Kelly Shores, when he did his review on the smart controller, he says Bluetooth. I said, I can't figure out what Bluetooth is for. Well, I figured out what Bluetooth was for. I had my Samsung phone next to it. I downloaded I did some screen recording. I downloaded it to my phone right away, and it's on there, so I can have that. Like if I want to throw that in a video, I can have that there. I'm a big proponent of recording everything. When I go out there to fly, if for some reason, if like the worst catastrophe in the world happens and I lose my drone, I have some kind of a screen recording. Especially like if DJI or support wants to see it, or for my own purposes, or my insurance company wants to see it, I have it. It's something that I have. So, that's one thing that I found out today. The other thing is it does firmware updates one of two ways, and it's real interesting. Now, the first way is through DJI Assistant 2, but it's not DJI Assistant 2 vanilla. It's DJI Assistant 2 for the Mavic 2, okay? Because they have different DJI assistants out there, and I think a lot of people get confused. And I wish DJI would just have it under one badge, but they don't. So you have to whenever you do the firmware updates, you have to do it through DJI Assistant 2 for the Mavic 2. All right.
Right.
Now, this new firmware update that came out the other day was huge. And I know my friend, Original Dobo, Ken Dono, put out a great video the other day about this. And it now is able to be used on the Mavic 2 Enterprise series and the Mavic 2 Dual, which is huge. But this update was so large, you have to do it through DJI Assistant 2. There's a way of doing it here through Wi-Fi, but you can't, because the update's so large. It says you have to do it through a DJI Assistant 2. There's just no way around that. That's just how that goes. Now I got to tell you this: the one thing that I really like about this, guys, is being able to grip this. I don't know if you guys could see this or not. There's like grips back here when you're holding on to it. It makes this so easy to hold. You don't have, I mean, yeah, it does weigh a lot, but being able to hold it, I mean, I'm holding it firmly, without any, it's not going to slip out of my hands accidentally. And I really like that. I think that was a good thing that DJI did. And I went ahead and I looked at the, as far as, I played around with the operating system a little bit and the browser and everything. It has a I'll call it a rudimentary browser on there, and you can download some other things. I did see some tips on one of the forums, so I haven't gotten that far yet, but I was trying to download the second update, the one that just came out this week on Thursday, and evidently it was Saturday and everybody was trying to do the same thing because it failed like 4 times in a row. So I got to go back there and do that. So yeah, that was a real pain point today. It's like for the 4th time, I looked at my wife. I said, let's go get some dinner. I'm done.
Now, how does it compare with feel like you're talking about the grips on the bag? Now the Phantom remote has that.
Right.
Is it similar to that? Like with
it kind of is, Tommy. It's like, the one thing is, it's secure. You don't feel like it's going to slip out of your hands. It's like, and it's almost, I don't want to call it a rubber, but I don't want to call it like plastic or metal. It's some kind of a softer material, but yet it feels good in your hands. It doesn't feel like it's going to slip. Now on the bottom, kind of on the bottom, but you guys can see there's 2 holes for lanyards here. Okay. Now I know one of my friends from the UK who has one. He's going to go ahead and buy. There's a 1-piece metal thing that will fit right here, and then it has a hook, so you could be able to mount a lanyard in the middle if you wanted to do something like that. So I mean, that option's available. Now the other port on this side right here, you see, there's the HDMI port, there's the SD card, and then there's the USB port on there too. Now, one of the things that I heard regarding regarding the SD card is, if you're doing firmware updates with that, so take the SD card out of there, because that can really, they said that can really interfere with doing it. Just have it clean in there. Don't have anything in there when you do that. Now, it's going to be an art, and I have to figure out how to transfer things. It's easy to transfer like the pictures or videos to the SD card, but like the screen captures and the screen recorder, that's something I haven't figured out yet.
Oh, wow.
I saw a update in a couple of the Facebook groups where Ken Booth is talking about assigning a different drone using the same controller. I don't have that controller, so I didn't pay attention to all of it, but there was something about rebooting and going into Assistant 2 software and selecting a different drone was how you did it. So I gotta look into that. I was one of those idiots that went and bought the Crystal Sky, and I wish I had not bought that thing. I've never plugged it in, never used it. I have an iPad Pro 11.5 inch. I live up in Seattle where it rains all the time and it's always cloudy. We get about 1 month out of the year where it's just blazing sun all the time. But so I really don't need this thing. Does anybody want to buy it? I mean, I'm going to sell it super cheap.
That's crazy. I hear people rave about those.
Well, for the right place, if you're out in this, anywhere else but Seattle, it's great. But for me up here, I just don't need it. I got that iPad Pro and I hook it up and it's bright enough for just about everything that I do. So it's not really an issue, but I'm kind of considering actually selling that and getting that RC that you have there, Bill. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say about it further in your show and looking forward to seeing, you using it and stuff like that. And
oh, definitely
want to follow up on that. Let's see. We'll look over here. Hey, I love my crystal sky. Lauren likes that. I'll give you $50 and a rack of baby backs. I got the smoker.
I got a smoker.
Thanks, Doug. It's worth more than $50. Okay, I'll sell it if I can buy the other RC. So
2 racks. He wants 2 racks.
2 racks. Yeah, Doug. I can always count on Doug. It's amazing guy. He's always in here giving me a hard time. Usually it's about my Seattle Seahawks shirts, but this time it's. Oh wait, no, he's upped it. It's brisket or some chicken now.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know. You know, after we go fly, we got to eat, I guess. So.
No more hot dogs.
So, Bill, what's new for you? What's on the horizon? I mean, I know you're doing some great things. I mean, can you clue us in on some stuff that you got coming up?
Yeah, I got some. I got some. I'm continuing, and this was kind of a labor of love. I've gotten 3 parts of a 5-part series done. Was how to start I originally called it how to start a drone YouTube channel, but I just called it how to start a YouTube channel. And I kind of went back and I said, you know what? Here are the things that I wish I would have known when I started my channel, kind of a thing. And one of the things that I think I'm getting 300-400 views on it at most. I mean, it's not something, and I didn't do that to get views. I just wanted people to have I don't know if I want to use the word appreciation, but there's a lot of work as well as I know both you and Tommy know that there's a lot of work in getting a YouTube channel up and running and getting it promoted and doing all the things that you need to do to get the word out there about it. And I wanted to make sure people knew that it's just a lot more than sitting in front of a camera and having a microphone and talking. A lot of thought, a lot of planning has to go into it. And this is what I'm trying to cover, and and I'm trying to fit it in the theme of my, not necessarily under 5 minutes, but have a short series on it because, I'm not a Sean Cannell. I'm not a Pat Flynn. I'm not a Daryl Eves, all these big YouTube guys. Those guys do fantastic as far as being able to get, the word out about how to do a lot of these things. In fact, I got a lot of my things from Sean Cannell is how I started my channel, but it's a labor of love and I really like it. So, for me, I'm really enjoying doing this. And like I said, I got a couple more parts coming up, but, and one of the things, the last part I'm going to do, it's going to be like tips, and it's going to be like how to handle things. Because, one of the big things I hear about all the time is how do I handle negative comments? How do I deal with these negative trolls out there all the time that are just going out there and that are bashing me? And, how do I deal with these people who are doing mob dislikes, Bill, and going out there and all this? Well, that's my last one is I'm going to be doing a whole segment on that and being able to talk about that. It really, to me, I had a gentleman the other day left me a comment, and he's a real good friend, is a great subscriber of mine, but he said, this is the first video of yours in over 400 that I disliked, Bill, and here's why. And he got into the litany why, and I understood that, but I told him, I said, I addressed him, I said, you need to understand something. I said, you start a chain, when you dislike a video, it starts a bad chain of events that happens. Not necessarily from YouTube wise, but when other people see that, when they see that those dislikes grow, they're going to not watch your video. You're not going to get subscribers. I mean, it starts a not a good chain of events. So, that's kind of a labor of love for me, this how to start a YouTube channel series. I'm looking forward to getting that wrapped up. One of the other things that I'm doing right now too, is a lot of people don't know this, but I actually have a podcast out there, and guess what it's called? Bill the Drone Podcast. Okay. And what I've done is, and I've kind of made it easy. Now I talked to Rick. I've met Rick Smith several times. His daughter works over in the Orlando area, so he's down here quite a bit. And one of the things he suggested to do was, to help get the name out a little bit more about your channel, is to do a podcast. Well, I found there's a site called Podbean, like Coffee Bean, and it was very easy to get started. It's running me $14 a month, and I'm out on Spotify, I'm on iTunes, I'm on Google Play. And the really cool thing about this is if I wanted to do, I'll call it a simulcast. If I wanted to do a podcast and have it go out to YouTube, it can do that as well. What displays on YouTube is your channel logo, but you can still do something like that and do in a format like that. Well, one of the more popular ones that I did was when I had Romeo on the show. That had 350 downloads. Okay. I had when I had Rick Smith on, that had 250 downloads. People, and what I do is I just take my live stream that I have, and I just chop the audio up just a little bit and just throw it out there, and it's easy. I mean, putting together podcast is the setup behind it. There's a lot of work to set it up, but putting it out there is like super easy. And I've got like 8, 9, 10 of them out there already.
Yeah, we've discussed that as well. Kind of backing up to starting your own YouTube channel and stuff. That is really good information. Well, there are 2 channels that I have, the Drone Owners Network Live one, but there's also my original channel, which I never really cared about monetizing it. I just wanted something to put my videos up and whatever kind of deal. And it's actually possible to monetize it. I looked at it the other day and I could monetize it, but I'm not going to do that. I haven't put anything on there for like a year. Just because I haven't really done anything I think that's kind of worthy of going up there. And I've been using Facebook a lot for a lot of my personal videos and stuff. There's a whole thing between Facebook not making your YouTube thumbnail as large as it would for your Facebook video. Or your YouTube thumbnail is smaller than your Facebook thumbnail, and it just looks much more inviting when it's a Facebook video. Just one of the things they do, and I get that. But yeah, you're right. When we started this channel, there was a lot of things that I didn't realize, and we have to learn. Just the simple thing of thumbnails. I'd never even thought about that. And we started the channel up, and then all of a sudden I started getting emails through the Drone Owners Network Live email, and we started getting a ton of information from YouTube. And of course, I'm sure everybody does. I don't think we're unique in this aspect, but we started getting a ton of emails saying, "Oh, your channel's growing at a phenomenal rate, and you're doing really, really well. And here's some helpful tips and stuff." And they had this whole thing on thumbnails that they were talking about. And then I started going around looking at thumbnails, and I was like, "Oh wow, yeah, that's more appealing to click on than this than this other guys and stuff." So yes, there is a lot that goes in behind recording, editing, and all that stuff to put together a nice video and then uploading it. And there's even actually more to do when you're doing a live show, because you're up against time. You're up against, trying to keep continuity working and all that stuff. And then in our case, we're putting all these other graphics on there too, in which I just got pointed out in the group. I got pointed out in the group that one of my graphics was a little loud, which we didn't, by the way, Lauren, we didn't hear that in our headphones. We didn't hear it at all. So thank you for pointing that out. And, also, yes, no show next weekend. I've got so you're doing International Drone Day. There was going to be an International Drone Day here in Tacoma, but, they pulled out of it. So we're going to get together. It's going to be a non-sanctioned event, and we're all going to meet up at the same place. It's a normal RC park where you fly, but we're just going to still meet up at the same time. So yeah, there won't be a show here next week. I don't think I'll make it back. It's an hour north of me, so I don't think I'll make it back in time to do a show. Hey, Canadian Drone Hub is in the house. How you doing, guys? Let's see. Tommy's in there. He just said what's up and all that. And I just lost my train of thought. It just went. I had it, and I was going with it. But yeah, no, those are really good things that you're doing, Bill. As far as talking to people about what has to happen to create an interesting YouTube channel. A lot of people don't think about all the little details that kind of go into it. But and as much as we thought we knew going into this, we're learning more and more every day. So that's really awesome. Is there anything else you want to add, Bill, or anything you got, Tommy?
Yeah, just a couple more things. One of the other things that I recently found out, and I wanted to pass this on to you and Tommy and everybody, is one of the things that is really big right now is email lists. And, because I watched an informational video from Sean Cannell. He runs Think Media. He's with some other, he has some other channels. But one of the things about email lists is, if platforms are taken away from you, what do you have in terms of contacts? Okay, you have all your subscribers, but do you have their email addresses? Well, a great way of building your brand and building your channel is through email lists. And one of the ways of doing that, say for instance, you watch a video and at the end, and he says, if you click on this, I'll give you 5 tips on how to do XYZ. All right. And all you got to do is give me your email address, and then we'll send you a tip of the week. And what that does is, whether you can use, there's MailChimp, and there's dozens of them out there that you can get, and to get a landing page as well too. And that way, the ones that you'd be interested in would be ones where you can actually get the email addresses. That's something I'm going to start getting into, because I think that is probably a key way of being able to build your brand, build the channel, but yet, it's independent of social media. And I think it's absolutely fantastic, because, who wouldn't want to receive 5 tips from Bill the Drone Reviewer, or from, you guys, 5 news items of the week, or, these are the hot items that are going on right now. And be able to give these tips out, and you maintain regular contact with them on a weekly basis. So I think that's one thing that I think I'm getting into, and it's something I'll send you a link to this video from Sean Cannell. I'll drop it to you, Curtis, so you guys can check that out. I want to thank you guys so much for having me on tonight. You guys, like I said, from day one, the first time I saw you guys have your act together. You're cohesive. All of you work so well, and it's hard when you have more than 1 or 2. When you have 2 or more people, it's hard to be cohesive and work together. And I know you have a lot of people behind the scenes that help you out and everything. You're polished, you're professional, you're friendly. You all of you do a great job there.
Well, thank you very much, Bill. We do appreciate that. 19 of us on staff so far. So, but
many?
Yeah, there's actually that many. There's the staff there's the Don staff conversation that you're a part of, but there's also a staff conversation too, but everybody's like contributing, and we're all volunteers is the thing. And being all volunteers, not everybody can be available every day. So I have this nice breadth of friends, and they all just, when somebody finds something, whether it's a news story or I need to test something with OBS Studio or something like that, my guys just jump on and help me out and stuff like that. And it's great to have that. It is a smaller community for the larger community that we're developing. And I call it staff. And like I said, nobody gets paid or anything. We're not monetizing the channel. We're way far away from doing that. But we're having a good time. And when we have classy folks like you on, Bill, it just adds to what we're doing. And we really appreciate you coming on. This is just awesome having you here.
Well, I would like to return the favor, have you guys on sometime on Tuesday night.
Awesome.
That means I got to get off work early.
Well, you know what? I can definitely adjust the time of my show, because nobody else is on Tuesday night. So I can definitely kind of tweak that time to help out.
If you can tweak that time, I would definitely love to come on your show and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. And
you guys
totally down for it.
Like I said, you guys do. You guys do an incredible service to the drone community. I think you are the up and coming show without any doubt. Like I said, you're polished, you're professional, friendly. You got good rapport with everybody. You guys have a winning formula here.
I know we're fixing to wrap up here, but there's a really good question in the chat group, and maybe you can address this, Bill. So does the SD card in the smart controller only record the screen from that pull down system menu?
That's a good question. That I don't know the answer to.
Okay.
I will definitely find that out.
Well, we're glad that she pointed that out, because that gives you some information to kind of go look up.
Yeah.
And so anyway, all right. So guys, that's it. We're done with our show today. We appreciate everybody kind of coming out. Again, next week we're not doing a show because this guy needs to go fly, and I've got about 20 other guys that I'm going to be going flying with. It was an International Drone Day event, but International Drone Day pulled out of the event, so it's a non-sanctioned event. So we're not even calling it that. But International Drone Day is happening around the world. Everybody's kind of just going out and meeting up with all their friends and flying, pointing out that drones are good. So if you have something in your area, it's a great day to get out and fly, as Bill says. In fact, Bill, we should just let you exit the show. Hang on, let me get Bill on here. Get out of this. Bill, let's exit the show with what you like to say. Your outro.
Okay. And remember, it's a great day to fly.